Hello and welcome. In this video we're going to be replacing front brakes on a 2014 Toyota Sienna. I'm also going to be replacing rear brakes, but that will be in a total separate video, and if you want to watch that video, go ahead and click the link right above the screen. Join me now as I will be unboxing every part that I will be using for this four-wheel brake job, and let me show you exactly the parts that I'm using. I am using OEM Toyota brake pads, but I will not be using OEM Toyota rotors. But these are high quality rotors, and if you're interested in any of the parts that I will be using in this video, I'll have that information in the description box below. If you're a return subscriber, I appreciate you coming back and watching another one of my videos. If you're new here, I hope this video gives you confidence to tackle your next DIY project. Take a look around the channel. Most of my videos are simple, step-by-step repairs that you could do at home with basic to moderate mechanical skills. So feel free to browse, and if this helped you, consider subscribing. Alright, so this is the driver's side. I'm going to go ahead and remove the wheel. What we're going to do is going to use a 14mm wrench, and we're also going to use a vice grip. The vice grip is used to hold the back of the sliding pin, so that when you're turning it with the 14mm wrench, it doesn't spin on you. Okay, so we lock the vice grip in place, and then we break that 14mm bolt loose. Depending on what state you live in, this could be hard. There's a lot of the rust, a lot of the salt in the road. Alright. We got that loose, and there's your bolt. Take this off, and then bring the caliper all the way up, bump it out, and there it is. This is what I was talking about. This is where you lock the vice grip in place, just like that, and then you turn your 14mm bolt. If you don't lock that in place, most likely when you break that off, the sliding pin is going to be turning with it. So what we're gonna do now, I'm taking a 70mm socket, and we're gonna go ahead and take the caliper bracket off. Now you can use a shorter ratchet, but I use a long ratchet just because a lot of times this bolt is torqued very hard, and obviously you get a little more leverage when you use a longer ratchet. Same thing with the one down here. Two bolts. There you go. Broke them loose. Once you break them loose, you can usually lose them up by finger. Got the first one out. Got the other one off. And here's your whole setup right here. These are both the brake pads, and these are clips to hold it together. You gotta put those back when you put the new ones back in. The way to take this rotor off is 12mm bolt. Now you can use two, I only use one. You use one here, and then simultaneously turn the wrench or a socket and a ratchet. There we go. That's off already. And there's your rotor. Rotor's out. Alright, here's the new rotor. Now you don't have to line it up with these holes where they were before. Totally up to you. If you want to, go right ahead. And we're going to go ahead and take off these pads. You can just pull out these clips, hold it, don't throw them out, save them for later. Take off the old brake pads, and we're going to go ahead and switch these clips. You could just pull them out by hand, honestly. A lot of the times, or sometimes, you could just use a screwdriver, flathead screwdriver, and it'll be just fine. If you get the ones from the manufacturer, it's a lot easier to put in just like this one. But if you get aftermarket ones, from my experience, I've had a lot of trouble putting these in.
Sometimes you may even have to go as far as modifying them, like grind them off a little bit, or closing them in, or opening them a lot more. Whoops, that one does not go there. Okay, and there it is. Now I'll go ahead and take a lug nut to secure the rotor in place, just so it's not moving around on me. It's not coming off that hub while I'm placing the brake pads in, while I'm placing the brake pad caliper bracket back in, because it just tends to get a little annoying. Just like this. So, torque it down a little more. There we go. It's not gonna go anywhere. Go ahead and torque this down. Okay, so I've attached all the clips to the caliper bracket. I bolted down the caliper bracket. Now we use that poly grease. We put it on this, the back of the pad, then you put the shim on. You don't gotta go crazy with the poly grease, that's why they give you a small amount. This is pretty much just to prevent some of the squeal that happens during hot braking. There. Those clips that I talked to you about before not to lose, put them on in just like so. Let me show you on here the way they're gonna face. You gotta be careful, because these clips are actually gonna spread the brake pads apart. So while you're installing that brake caliper, make sure you hold this at the same time. Now, you got that nice little tool right here that'll actually push the pistons in by ratcheting it. I'll show you how it works. Pretty much just ratcheting, you see the tool spreading, and that's going to push the caliper pistons in. This is how it works. Put it on here just like so. Hold it. And there it is. You'll see it starts pushing the caliper pistons in. That is it. Your pistons are pushed back in, you're ready to install this caliper. I do like to put a little grease on these caliper slider pins, just so that the caliper sliders move in back and forth real easily. Same thing on the bottom one. Okay, once we lube those up, go ahead and put the caliper back in. Like I said, you gotta hold these pads, close them together as you put the caliper in. Ready to install the 14mm bag. Okay, once that's torqued down, you can remove that nut that you temporarily put on here, and you're ready to install your wheel back. Now remember, if you're just doing a front brake job, we're doing a four-wheel brake job on this car. If you're just doing a front wheel brake job, you put the wheels back on, you torque your nuts. Don't just go drive the car afterwards. You're gonna have to pump the brake pedal about 10 times, a good 10 times, you know, nice and easy. Pump, let up, pump, let up, pump, let up, and you do that for about 10 times, just so that you can get the hydraulic pressure back in the pistons. Remember, we'll push the pistons back in. That's gonna push that fluid back up, but fluid has to travel back down to push those pistons back in. If you just go ahead and put the car in drive and hit the brake pedal, it's not gonna stop. So make sure you pump that brake pedal 10 times. That's all you have to do before you start the car.
Now, coming over to the right side of the car, we're going to start off with a 14mm wrench as well as a vice grip. And we're going to repeat the same steps as we did on the driver's side. Now, I do want to take a few seconds and talk about safety and setup. You don't see me recording where I jack up the car and set it on jack stands, because I do hope, and I honestly want to emphasize for you to take your time and doing this. Make sure that the car's completely safe to work on, especially if you're doing this by yourself. What I do is I make sure the vehicle's level on the ground. I set the parking brake and make sure I chock the rear wheels. However, in this particular scenario, I'm doing a 4-wheel brake job, and I went ahead and put the car right on 4 jack stands. Make sure you look at the repair manual or even the owner's manual of the car. Sometimes it does show the jacking points of where you should be putting or placing your jack stands. So just make sure you take your time and do this, because safety comes first, guys. You want to prevent an accident. So as I'm working on this passenger side, let's talk about some of the things that I mentioned while I was doing the driver's side. Let's talk about the grease that you should be using on the slide pins. The slide pins, they have a rubber boot, which eventually could swell up and thicken up with heat, as heat generates, you know, the many and multiple brake applications that you do. If that slide pin doesn't slide into the caliper bracket nice and smoothly, what it'll end up happening is that the grease in there will thicken up, and it'll eventually cause those boots to rip or even cause restriction, eventually leading you to uneven brake pad wear or brake pull. If you ever experience some kind of condition where you apply the brakes and the vehicle pulls to one side, that's called a brake pull. So what you want to do is use silicone based grease, high temperature. That's what you want, something that's rubber safe. Yeah, this is one of the things that's very common in Toyota vehicles, especially in the early 2000s Toyotas and some of the even the 2010 models. Cars will come in and you look at the outside brake pad and it'll be nice and thick, still have some good padding left, but the inner padding was pretty much down to the metal, and that's exactly what it was. Brake pad slide pins will be causing that. Eventually what you have to do is replace entire brake caliper bracket because you couldn't get that slide pin out, both of the slide pins. Okay, so since we're talking about grease, this little packet that I just opened and you see me applying to the back of the brake pad is called moly grease. And a fun fact, I used to call it for many years poly grease. If you must know the story, I'll sum it down in about a few seconds. Basically, this is a small packet and the grease is called moly. So packet and moly, I used to call it poly grease. Don't know why, don't know how, just somehow or another with the years that I worked at the dealership, I referred to it as poly grease, and eventually some of the guys that I worked with were referring to it as that. And one day I noticed, and yeah, it's called moly grease. Well, anyways, back to what I was saying. You see me applying a thin layer, just a very, very thin light coat on the back of the brake pad, and that's all you need. This is one of those scenarios where less is more. This grease is very sticky, so you don't want to apply a lot. But whenever you buy brakes for the front or the rear, the front comes with 4 brake pads, obviously 2 for each side. That little small packet is enough for all 4 brake pads, because what it's going to do is just go between where the shim and the pad contact surfaces are, and it'll prevent brake squeal, brake chatter. It'll even help with the vibration during the braking. So this is very, very important when it comes to replacing your brake pads on your Toyota. Don't use this anywhere else but the brake pads and shim contact. That's it. Now make sure you also install the brake pad shims properly, because they do help a lot with noise. They also reduce corrosion. They ensure that the brake pad is not moving off a lot where it's going to create a lot of noise, and it does prevent a lot of pad binding. Now moving on to the clips that most of these brake pads don't come with, because this is another kit that you have to get separately. These are actually a wear and tear item. That's right. It may not seem like it, but they do tend to wear. So if the car has high mileage, I do advise for you to replace them. If the car is only going through its first brake job, you could get away with it and it'll be okay. But if it does have high mileage and this is your second, third brake job, I would replace it, just because these clips, they do apply tension to the pads, and if it's been worn out, it's not applying as much tension, so you may get a noise from that. The whole point of replacing brake pads with OEM pads is to prevent noise, to get that premium quality braking. Ever heard of the term stop on a dime? Well, that too. And prevent that brake dust that usually accumulates on the wheels from getting cheaper brake pads. Now, another advantage of replacing the fitting kit is that the pads are going to slide a lot more freely, and eventually, if you have some big wheels that are going to show your brakes, the old clips are going to show a lot of rust and wear. Anyways, this is just a front wheel brake job, and I don't want to make this video any longer than what it has to be. I hope this video was helpful for you, and if you think that it will provide some guidance, some kind of reference for your next brake job, whether you have a Sienna or any other Toyota, please consider giving a like, subscribe if you haven't. And until next time, thanks for educating yourself and making progress, and you'll see me in the next video. Best to you.